She made a whole stadium cry in 39 minutes, and she didn't even win. They walked out to the loudest ovation of the entire day, and 39 minutes later, they walked off in silence. What happened in between broke hearts across an entire nation, and by the end of this video, you will understand why millions of people are still talking about it. Before we go any further, if stories like this hit you right in the chest, hit that subscribe button right now. Not because I'm asking you to. Because somewhere out there is a kid who needs to see people like her win someday, and channels like this one are how those stories get told. If you believe that too, you already know what to do. Subscribe, and let's get into it. Now stay with me, because what happens at the end of this match is going to leave you speechless. But first, you need to understand exactly what walked onto that court. Louis Armstrong Stadium, US Open, round of 16 in the mixed doubles draw. On one side, a wild card pairing nobody expected to matter this much, Alexandra EALA, 21 years old, from the Philippines, and Felix Auger-Aliassime, the Canadian world number 4. On the other side, a team that didn't need to build chemistry, because they already had it. Elina Svitolina of Ukraine and Gael Monfils of France. Married since 2021. Playing a Grand Slam together for the very first time. On paper, this already had the makings of one of the most talked about matches of the tournament. Svitolina, ranked 9th in the world, a former top 3 player with 2 career doubles titles. Monfils, 39 years old, a fan favorite for over 2 decades, now in the final season of his professional career. A husband and wife stepping onto a Grand Slam court together, for what might be one of the last times either of them ever does. But across the net stood something just as powerful. EALA wasn't just another young player chasing a moment. She was already a piece of history. Just 1 year earlier, she became the first Filipino player in the Open era to win a Grand Slam main draw match, stunning Denmark's Clara Tauson at this very tournament. She had recently climbed to a career-high world number 18. And here's the detail that should have terrified Svitolina and Monfils walking in: EALA had already beaten Svitolina twice this year, in Berlin and in Washington. Twice. On the singles court. This wasn't a nervous underdog. This was a player with a winning record against the woman standing across the net. And then there was the crowd. Keep watching, because what the crowd did in the next few minutes is something even the players didn't expect. From the moment EALA and Auger-Aliassime stepped onto Louis Armstrong Stadium, it stopped looking like a regular round of 16 match. Filipino flags filled the stands. Chants rolled through the crowd every time EALA touched the ball. This is what people mean when they talk about the EALA effect. Wherever she plays, an entire community shows up with her. Families who flew in. Strangers who found each other through the colors they were wearing. For a few hours, an American tennis stadium turned into a small piece of the Philippines. The format made things even more unpredictable. The US Open's mixed doubles uses shortened sets, just 4 games instead of 6, all the way until the final. That means there's no time to settle in. No time to find your rhythm slowly. Every single point carries weight from the very first ball. For a brand new partnership playing together on this stage for the first time, that format could be a gift, or it could be a trap. It turned out to be a trap. The opening game went to EALA and Auger-Aliassime. For one moment, it looked like the crowd's belief might turn into something real. But that's exactly where things started to unravel, and you are not going to believe how fast it happened. Svitolina and Monfils did not need to find chemistry. They already had it, built over years of marriage, years of understanding exactly where the other one would be standing before the ball even left the racket. After dropping that first game, they simply stopped missing. 9 of the next 10 games went their way. A double fault from Auger-Aliassime in the 5th game handed away the first set. EALA and Auger-Aliassime clawed back to level the second set at 1 game apiece, and for a moment, the stadium roared like it might turn again, but Monfils and Svitolina closed it out, surviving one final tense moment when Auger-Aliassime's return sailed just wide. Final score, 4-1, 4-1. 39 minutes. That's it. That's all it took for a couple who had never played a Grand Slam together to dismantle a wildcard team carrying the hopes of an entire country. And then, right there on the court, in front of everyone, Monfils and Svitolina sealed the win with a kiss. For EALA and Auger-Aliassime, it wasn't the fairy tale ending anyone in that stadium was hoping for. 8 unforced errors from the new partnership, compared to just 1 from their opponents, told the real story of the match. This wasn't a case of an inexperienced team almost pulling off a miracle. It was a veteran duo, playing on instinct built over years, simply having an answer for everything a brand new pairing tried to throw at them. But here's what I need you to understand, because this is the part almost nobody is talking about. This match was never really about a trophy. For EALA, mixed doubles was always the side story. Her real mission at this US Open is the singles draw, where she will be seeded for the 2nd consecutive Grand Slam, something that felt almost unthinkable for a Filipino player just a few years ago. She's already scheduled to step back onto the court this week in an exhibition against her close friend, American rising star Iva Jovic. The loss stings, but it is nowhere close to the end of her story here. And that crowd? The flags, the noise, the chants that followed her from point to point. None of that disappeared because of a scoreline. If anything, it proved something bigger than a win ever could. An entire nation didn't show up because they expected a guaranteed victory. They showed up because of who she is, and what she represents every single time she steps onto a major court. So here's the real question, and I want you to think about this before you click away. If a wild card pairing with zero chemistry can pull an entire country onto a plane and fill an American stadium with flags in their very first match together, what happens when EALA walks into her singles matches this week, with that same crowd, and nothing left to lose? That is a story still being written. And if you don't want to miss the moment it happens, you already know exactly what button to press before you go anywhere else. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and be here when the next chapter drops, because trust me, this is not the last time you're going to hear this crowd roar her name.